On Second Shot, we tackle 2 new headlines every week to find out what kind of wisdom the world is dishing out today. And we want you to be a part of that. When you see a headline you want to take a second shot at, or if you're looking for advice, or just want to tell us what you think of the show, email us at secondshotcast@gmail.com. If you like what you hear, rate us on iTunes. This helps us move up in the ratings so more people will see us. And if you want to hear more, subscribe to the show so that the new episodes will get straight to you every single Friday. We love you. Thanks for listening and enjoy.
There's a lot of news in the world today.
News that might surprise you, startle you, upset, or maybe impress.
News that's not always for the faint of heart.
That's why the man who failed his way to success, Heath Oakes, is stepping up.
Tackling today's headlines with ignorance on fire in a way only a millennial mogul can.
Take off your sport coat, grab a beer, and enjoy the conversation.
This is Second Shot with your host, Heath Oakes.
Like I am running around with a chicken with my head cut off today.
Why?
I don't know. It's just like because I'm having to go to this, get to that, and back, and all of these things. And I hate it. I hate the feeling that you constantly feel like you're forgotten something, you're behind, and all those glorious things.
Is it because I went with you to work today?
Probably. It was bring your wife to work today. Jenny's on the mic is my beautiful wife.
Hey everybody.
And Matt decided he was going to just take siestas and relax and not be here. So Zach is having to run the control room and be on the mic.
Hi, I'm in here.
Multitasker.
It's good. I heard a study, not that this is a headline, but hear me out. I heard a study that said that multitasking is almost a myth, that you're never really doing two things well. You're just doing two things poorly, and that's... I didn't know if you had any thoughts on that.
Well, for women can do it.
Oh, okay. I see.
Yeah. She says that when she somehow multitasks to ruin every one of her tires on her cars all the time.
What?
And they consistently have tires flat.
I mean, look, that is not my problem that there's just hazards.
The roads out here, they're horrible.
The roads in Texas.
We drive on the same roads and get brand new tires and there's a screw in it.
I will say the TV station I was most recently working at had a pretty rough entrance.
To be fair, I've seen that parking lot. It's bumpy rough on the way in. Yeah, you're onto something. Yeah,
it is.
Man, there was something too. What was I just went blank. This is
great.
Me.
This is an awesome start, you guys. This is
good
listening.
Don't say that. It's fine. It's a fine start. We have it. It's okay.
What do we got on our first headline, Zach?
Our first headline. This is one of those things that we should normally preface with. This is not a political show, of course. We're not about that. But the midterms are coming up, and I wanted to talk about this one, so Heath and Jenny were gracious enough to tolerate me.
Yes, always.
Yes, the midterms are coming up. That's the thing. This is our last episode before then. We haven't talked about them before now. November 6th is the big day, so our next episode will be after that. This is just an article about polls, right, being wrong. That's the whole thing. Polls can be wrong. It's happened before. It can happen again. People, they get caught up in predictions and like the name game of where are things going to go, who's going to be in charge of what's going to happen, and they look at polls and they look at websites like 538 to try to determine what's going to happen with what race, and the answer is like no matter what. You never really know. It's all prediction and it's all speculation. But I mean, if it says this person has 80% chance of winning and this person has 20, it might seem like the odds are in one person's favor, but that doesn't. It's not over till it's over, I guess. And I just wanted to see what you two thought about that.
Well, and it's also, I mean, the last election, the presidential election showed us that the polls were wrong. All the polls.
Many
said
of them,
thing,
yes.
Yes.
And that come out and I think that's kind of a very typical in general, like. In the 100% commission, like sales world, here's the number one question I hate getting when talking to somebody about it, and it never fails, which is, 100% commission, right? As much as you work and sell, you make. And they'll always say, well, what does the average person kind of make in money? What can I really expect to make? Oh. I hate that question because it's like, look, here's the comp plan. Here's the kind of business. Do your own...
Comp meaning the compensation plan, how much you could make.
Do your own estimation of what you think you can get, and don't let me nor anybody else set a boundary of some sort of what you can and cannot do. Make that determination and that, if you're trying to start a some type of a furniture business, right? Do your own math of looking, no matter if 10 furniture stores have failed, look at your own and go, can you make the math work? Not what everybody else says or what the polls say or anything like that.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. You have to. I mean, I hate to say take charge, but it's true. I feel like so many people look at something like entrepreneurship as you're jumping off a cliff and hoping for the best. It's, no, you've got a parachute. It's a controlled descent. You have something to say. You have the power to do something.
Well, it's making your own decision, not letting somebody else make that for you, because whether or not you feel like that is what is happening. When you look at what the odds would say or what the other people would do, people beat the odds all the time. All the time. Why do we automatically go to, what are the odds, and I want to fit in that bubble? Because I love it when people ask me that. I go, well, I didn't realize you were average. well, I'm not. Well,
savage.
No, and that's what I do now. And they'll go, well, no, I'm not. I just want to know. Then why do you want to know what the average makes if you're not average?
I mean, okay. In the defense of these people asking, I get where they're coming from. They have, children to feed and house payments to make.
But look, then don't
I
do
see
it.
what you're saying. But the other thing too, that what's good about what you're doing is you're not setting up a ceiling, because a lot of people say you said, okay, the average makes $100,000 a year.
Yes.
Well, then they're thinking, okay, good. So I'll kind of shoot for 100. When in actuality, this could be a $500,000 a year earner, and so you don't want to set up the mindset of the $100,000 earner if they happen to be that person who has the potential to earn more in a smaller amount of time.
Yeah.
I got people that made $10,000 last year and people that made over $1 million last year.
See, maybe that should be the question. What's the most anybody's ever made here? That's a starting point.
Yeah, but see, that's what I wish the majority would say.
Yeah.
Because then that's what they're going for. That and it's and take that out of it. It's in general of anything you're trying to shoot for. You look to other people and get their ideas and thoughts, and then next thing you know, you're setting your limits based on what others are telling you, based on, like talking about the polls. You're setting your limits based on what the polls tell you is going to happen type thing.
Sure.
Without coming up with your own idea and your own decision that is based on your research and not what other people do, because we got to remember the majority of people are not those top end earners, right? So the majority of people you're going to talk to are going to limit your ceiling, based on what their type of thoughts are and where they've been.
It's true. We always do that. I remember asking that question in college with regard to broadcasting. I remember asking a professor, so, who's the most successful graduate, or where do people, I didn't ask, I should have asked that, who's the most successful graduate, but it was more so, where do people typically end up after working here? And so then you kind of target those really small towns and cities, when in actuality, I guess if I hadn't known, maybe I would have just said, hey, let me go apply in Dallas. I probably wouldn't have gotten a job there immediately. But you know what I mean? I see what you're saying, like that it is applicable to all situations.
Why not go for it? You know what I mean? Like, when you start looking at odds and all of that, then you start limiting your own beliefs. When you let others who haven't achieved, when we talk about sitting at the table, who's sitting at your table, you'll let people that aren't even anywhere close where you want to be limit what you believe you can go. And that's where I go back to where I was blessed to not be a very smart person, because I never thought about stuff long enough or had enough sense really to know what could or couldn't be done. And I was ignorance on fire. And honestly, there are times that I believe a lot of the time you just got to find out, do you want it? Is it a passion? You'll be amazed. You'll figure it out. But these odds makers, these polls, these things that people tell you, the percentages of this and that, you got to get out of that crap. Because you know me, I'm like the eternal optimist, and Jenny's like, sometimes you're low, and I am a little over optimistic.
It's great for inspiring people. It's difficult when we're trying to build a life together and, a financial future.
It's very positive, yes.
Yeah, we learned in the premarital stuff was one thing on the whole finances thing that where kind of the bar is that I can't just go buy a plane and not tell my wife. I had to learn
that's
that.
the bar?
Well, I just bought a plane.
Thank you.
And Jenny was like, oh, you just bought it? And I was like, oh, yeah, I didn't think about that. Like, I'm not, and I was because the premarital counselor is like, you need to set up an
They're
amount.
like, you should set up an amount. For some couples, it's $100.
And Jenny goes,
or
oh,
maybe
so like if he just
$500.
bought a plane, he should probably ask me. She goes, did you just buy a plane and not ask her? I go, yes.
Oh
Yes.
my gosh!
Yes,
How
he
am I
did.
just now hearing about
I'm
this?
new.
This is
Yeah.
tremendous.
I was
Yeah,
new.
it is.
I was
Sure.
new.
He was new.
I was new and I was learning.
Ignorance on fire.
He was ignorance on fire. So, well, and it's interesting because wait, had I interrupted
go.
that
No,
point?
keep
okay,
going.
I was just.
Take this away from me
I
quick.
have more bad purchases he's made to tell you
Yeah.
about. No, I was going to talk about this when I first read that article. Of course, the whole premise of this show is taking a second shot at the headlines and sort of the life lessons we can take from them. And when I heard this, I thought about in news we always kind of joke about you're only as good as your last big story. You know, every morning, if you're a staff reporter at any station around the country, typically every single morning, you're having a morning meeting and you have to pitch at least 3 sellable, usable ideas that you could turn that day.
Yeah.
So say the night before you got the big exclusive, blew everybody out of the water. Awesome. That was on Tuesday. Today's Wednesday. What do you have now?
Yeah.
You know, it's you have to consistently perform, and that's part of the pressure, but it's also part of the fun and the excitement that motivates you to keep going. And that's what this one made me think of, because so often in election season, there are candidates that we see that either they have a family name and legacy or a long political legacy, and you know, they do their thing, but they kind of figure the polls show I'm going to win. And every once in a while, they don't. I mean, and they are blown out of the water by
Right.
someone who was having the mindset of, I'm only as good as my most recent big story. You know, so they're continuing to push at the end, and they end up coming out on top.
Yeah.
It's a lot of pressure. It'll raise your cortisol levels to
Yes.
think like that. But if this is something you really want, and we're applying this sort of election story to our own lives, that consistency really matters in the court of public opinion, and also likely in the court of, you know, your boss's opinion.
Sure.
And I think that's perfect, because that's exactly what we're talking about. And that's one of the things to remember is that, you know, don't let other people sit there and put an odds maker or a poll on you and say, and put the amount of percent that you have a shot to make it or not. What you've got to figure out is it something you really love? If it's something you really love, you're going to be able to endure the tough times, because even if it said you had a 90% chance of making it, you're still going to have a rough time to get there. Okay, so if it's a 10% chance, 90, whatever, it's still going to have tough times. And why not, instead of looking at it, if somebody says you only got a 20% chance of making it, saying, I got a 20% chance. Like, that's a good thing, it should be, because that means there's an opportunity and chance. Why can't it be you? And I think that if you have something you want to go do and you love it and you have passion about it, and you go out there and put pen to paper with it, it may not, you may look up in 10 years and that thing may not be the one that ended up working, but it led you to whatever it was what's fulfilling you down the line and down the road. And I go, just don't let the people put odds on you. Don't let the polls tell you what the outcome's going to be. Go out there and make the outcome happen for yourself. We'll be back in the second segment of Second Shot.
He's a suit and tie kind of guy with deep Southern roots. Heath Oaks hosts more of Second Shot coming up on RNCN.
To all of my friends in the great state of Texas, if you have not taken advantage, I have a way to save you a ton of money. I have saved over about $3,000 in the last year, and I have no hassle. Go to energyogre.com, put in the promo code SECONDSHOT. Now listen, promo code SECONDSHOT, and you're going to get a free month just for signing up and saving a ton of money. So don't be crazy. Stop sitting around talking about, is this the real deal, and go do it right now. energyogre.com, promo code SECONDSHOT, and a free month. Thanks. Go get it now. Run.
Ready? Aim. Fire. Second Shot is back for another round on RNCN.
I think we need to hear your voice bringing us in and out of breaks. I think your voice is better than mine.
Really?
Yeah.
It's just because I have this little bit of, I think, potentially allergies or something like that, so my voice is deeper.
Sure.
It's like a good broadcast voice.
It's not like you have a background in broadcast or anything to
Yeah.
imply
Like,
that
okay.
maybe.
Yeah,
I do have that.
Zach, I don't think any of that has.
I do have that, but I
anything to do
really
with it.
it's
do
the allergies.
think.
Maybe she should get a little experience first, and I'll let her do that.
Thank you. Should I send in my audition reel?
Yeah,
yeah.
slide us a tape. Perfect.
You're only as good as your most recent podcast.
Oh.
Yeah, but hey, look, if I'm gonna count on you to get me a tape, I can forget about that because you're gonna sit there and look at it forever and analyze it to death.
You
and
know
never
that's
do
what
it.
I've been doing.
Absolutely.
Yes, that's what I.
She would sit there and analyze every little piece of it to death and never actually like
Yes.
just do it and make that call because they're like, well, my hair didn't look as good there.
Well, but people,
It's like-
I mean, look, you'd
it's
be
like, honey.
surprised at what you get criticized on
That's
in
fair.
this business.
You're
and
freaking hot. It doesn't matter.
because that's what they're looking for.
Well, I mean, a look does matter, but
God.
I mean, that's what you look at. You're the one that go, oh, my hair didn't.
Resume
You're always
builder.
hot. It's okay.
my husband says I'm freaking hot.
Yes.
Yeah.
Put it on your tombstone.
I am looking for a new agent, so that's why I'm putting all of this stuff together. Because
She needs to just let me be the agent.
I know I do. You're tougher than any agent I've
Yes.
had. I will say that.
Ooh.
I will get them.
Call out
I
to
will
the
get you
agents.
the money you need.
We'll make it happen.
And if you
am
do-
I
Somebody's
starting
gotta
a
buy-
career as a
On
100%
your way to
commission
the car,
salesperson?
on the way to the car, you may get a little scared if you don't pay my wife.
Oh gosh. Okay.
Dun,
enough.
dun, dun, dun.
Somebody's gonna pull that
no.
up down the road. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
This will be on tape somewhere.
I know.
Our second story on this
By the way,
week's-
thank you
yes.
for this, Zach, because I love this
This
story.
headline. I know,
that-
good find.
This one was a Matt one, believe it or not.
Oh,
yeah,
really?
for phoning it in this week, he pulled out a good headline.
He's
Yes.
trying to be as good as his last podcast.
Not being here.
Our second headline, I should say. This one question will make every decision in your life easier. We are not a get-rich-quick scheme kind of show, but man, if this headline doesn't sound like it. The British rowing team, all right, had not won a gold medal since 1912. By all measures, they didn't have a good rowing program. Then something changed. In anticipation of the 2000 Sydney Olympics, the team developed a useful strategy that changed everything. They went from being an average rowing team to winning Olympic gold. With their one strategy, they embedded several key principles that are essential to epic success. Also some scientific stuff here. What is the big question? I know you're all wondering. The question is, will it make the boat go faster?
I love it.
That's about all I've got.
Well, and what they're saying there is, so they're a rowing team, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so this is part of a performance psychology thing that's called an implementation intentions. Okay, so it's like planning for certain things to happen and having it set in your mind and frame a frame of reference and stuff, right?
It's a pre-planned response to a specific obstacle. In the
Exactly.
most simplest of terms. Yeah, it's a plan.
So what they did was they adopted this strategy of will it make the boat go faster for everybody on the team to ask themselves for anything that they were going to do. So for instance, say somebody's buddy on the rowing team asked them to go out and party the night before training. They may get the culture of he asked himself, will that make the boat go faster? No, it won't. When the day before a race and they wanted a donut and he goes, will that make the boat go faster? No, it won't. So that one question, they applied it to basically everything they did, and it kept them really focused in on, we're going to make this rowing team. I mean, they were super zoned in, like other implementation intentions is like the Navy SEALs have the 40% rule, which means you usually hit the mental resistance at 40% of your
Right.
capacity, and that's where most people quit. So for instance, they teach that and let everybody know that and be prepared for that. So when that happens, it's not a surprise. It doesn't come out of left field. They've kind of planned to hit that wall.
Right.
And so it comes out. So, what I do in my business is I've got this deal made up when I'm bringing on, if I'm deciding to bring on somebody to start an office with me that I believe in that can build this sales team. It's a long journey and it's a rough journey of doing it. So I have a life cycle put together that I built probably 20, 30, 40 offices from nothing over the last, 8-9 years. And so, it's crazy that how identical all of them, the process they all go through is they hit the same walls, the same times and everything. And it's a 2-year life cycle. I've got it put together basically telling them in which months they're going to question me, which months are going to tell me they're going to want to quit the most, which months are going to want to do, they want to go left when they should go right. All those doubts come in. Basically have it up front telling them.
Right.
What it's done is, when I do that up front and keep it in front of them, when it happens, they slowly gain more trust with me because they go, okay, you said that would happen. So instead of it taking longer for them to overcome it, they go, okay, they believe me faster and buy in because they're like, okay, you already told me this would happen and it did, so I'm trusting you more and more and more. And they don't take as long way around and they're able to stay afloat longer. It's amazing that how much just knowing when those blocks are going to come and having those kind of prepared in your mind when everything goes wrong and somebody told you this would happen, you're like, oh, okay, yeah, keep going. Versus the other way, it's crazy.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
And like not even also knowing when, but I mean additionally like just knowing if things are going to come,
Yes.
right? Like, hey, at some point this is probably going to happen. So here's what you should do when it does. Then when that finally happens, they go, "Oh man, I'm prepared because Heath let me know what's up." Like
Exactly.
It's really stunning what that can do for people.
So like at the most basic level, an implementation intention is a pre-planned response to a specific obstacle. Mm-hmm. So I can't, it's like if you you're going through a job search, you're going through stuff like it's looking ahead of thinking where are some of those pre-planned responses when life hits you, when that thing kind of happens. Get a pre-planned response for it, and knowing that's going to happen is going to help you overcome it faster. I've watched it tremendously happen when people knew that those ups and downs and ebbs and flows were going to happen.
The other thing I like about this question, so read the question again. It's just, will it make the boat go faster, right?
Yep, simple.
Will it make the boat? What I like about this is if you have a specific goal in mind, it takes the emotion out of it. Because the emotion is sometimes where people falter.
Oh yeah.
Right? So let's use an example of like a health or fitness goal, or say you're trying to follow a certain nutrition plan or something like that. And your friends invite you out and it's, birthday cake and pizza. And you're kind of like, oh, I've got the emotion. Like I want to celebrate my friend's birthday and I don't want to be the weird one who doesn't eat the pizza and I don't want to be isolated.
Oh man, can I jump in here?
Please.
I've been dieting and doing so well. I earned this. Oh
yeah,
man.
Yes. All of those things.
Yes.
All of those things. So if you have that nutrition goal and hey, I'm sticking to this for a month or whatever, will it make the boat go faster? Will it get me closer to that goal?
Yeah.
The answer's no in the pizza party thing, and it takes the emotion because it's so
the emotion's what derails you.
It's so taxing on you too, and it makes you not only resent your goal but resent the healthy habits that you're developing to get to your goal. So then you go off the rails. You're pissed because you didn't follow the plan. You proved that you couldn't do it, and then you fall further back. So I really like taking the emotion out of it and having it not be about, a certain food being bad or good, or not being about I shouldn't, or I'm bad or I'm good, or, these people are trying to sabotage me. It's none of that. It's just, does it get me closer to my goal? That is the goal that I made for myself. I'm responsible for that goal.
Can you think about this? Think about somebody that has this attitude where they're very deliberate about, all of their actions and decisions. If they were this deliberate, would you want to compete against that person?
No, because they're on a mission.
So think
They're a
about
robot.
that.
They will never go to the pizza party.
Yeah.
But think about that is like if that's true, why wouldn't you want to adopt that yourself?
Yeah.
Knowing that is a killer mentality that goes, look, every time something comes up, will that make the boat go faster, right? But those implementation intentions can be parts of all of our lives that we can put in place to do it. And I think that competing against that person would be somebody, it's kind of that they already are pre-planning how to respond. And like you've said, and like you're saying, Jenny, right here, is it's the emotions that make us go party the night before when we're going to be hungover and the boat's definitely not going to be faster because of that. Emotions get involved. So if you have it pre-planned, if you have those intentions set up, you won't let your emotions overcome it. And I think sometimes people believe some are just stronger emotional people than they are. It's not. No, these people just
have a plan.
They just have a plan. I go back to that sailboat story I told a long time ago.
Sure.
With my boss, Mike, he talked about a guy he knew that won like 8 sailboat competitions down this big rich place in Miami. And he was like, well, how do you do that? And he goes, you got a better boat. He goes, no, everybody's got the exact same boat. You got to have the same boat. But he won 8 years in a row. And all it is a dadgum buoy out there that they got to sail to, turn around, and come back. So it's not really that deal. And he said that, he asked him, well, what makes you different? He goes, I plan to be off course. I know, these other people plan to try to stay on course so much. But me, I know I'm going to get off course. And everybody does. The wind's going to hit you the wrong way. A wave's going to do whatever. But I have a plan when I'm off course to get back on. So I'm able to just get back on course faster than other people. And I think that guy's actually just put an implementation intention in, basically. And I think at any time you're going to try to do anything or endure, go after something, get out of your comfort zone, do whatever that is, thinking about some implementation intentions, I think would be key.
Yeah, I think it's excellent. I don't think that this is a way to live your entire life. By the way, I just have to say that because I went kind of hardcore on the don't go to the pizza party thing. But I'm just saying if you have a specific goal or it's a career thing, I don't think that we should all live our whole lives removed from emotion, because we have these goals. It's really going to be alienating to people and communities. But
when you have a goal set out, you need it.
Goal, that you have to do this.
It's funny. Go ahead. Sorry.
It's kind of like why I went with you to work today.
Yeah.
Because I said, I've got this thing that I'm trying to do. Again, I'm working on recruiting a new agent. I'm working on getting my material together. And I realized what I was doing at home with with our baby. I want to play with her. When I'm around, I don't get anything done. So I had to remove myself from the situation, set a timer, sit down, be the weird person following their husband to work because I don't have an office right now.
Yeah.
And get it done. And I was like, wow, that was very successful.
No, but that is exactly what you did. You said, I know these things are going to come up and derail me from doing what I need to do right now. So if I go here and go into this conference room, close that door, I have no distractions, then that was an implementation intention. I think we got to be better at that. So, and we'll probably get into some of this on the third segment too, because I think this can go deeper. I really, really like this intentional effort to kind of do that. So we'll be back in a minute on the third segment of Second Shot.
Now that's what I call ignorance on fire. More of Second Shot with Keith Oakes still to come.
You guys have been listening to Second Shot and hearing us talk about it. You need to go pick up my book, Ignorance on Fire, A Journey of Failing Your Way to Success. You can get it on Amazon in a paper book. You can also hear this beautiful voice of mine in audiobook style on Audible or anywhere you're going to get your audiobooks. Guys, this book took a lot of time to put into it, and I believe it can really be some life-changing stuff to help you on your path to success. And hopefully you're going to fail your way to success just like I did. Ignorance on Fire, A Journey of Failing Your Way to Success. Amazon.com, Audible.com, audiobooks, paper books, everything. Get it, share it with your people, and I appreciate it. Thank you, guys. Go pick it up today.
Kick off your boots or suit up. The choice is yours. Welcome back to Second Shot on RNCN.
We've continued on this discussion some, and I think we got to hit into some of it third, because I just think it's the implementation intention, I think, is something that is one of those things. If you adopt it when you say, look, I want to go achieve this or do this, like this is key to put in place. And you were talking about you didn't know what it was called, but you basically did that thing in college.
Yeah, I had a thing in college that I used to do. I read an article once about how to beat procrastination, and it was, who hasn't seen millions of those? But no, it was really clever. The whole pitch behind it was when you procrastinate, you're putting something off till later, and you're telling yourself at the time, hey, later I'm going to be willing to do this. And what you need to understand is the world is constantly changing. We are constantly changing, right? We're constantly different people. An hour from now, I will be different from who I am now because my priorities will be different. I won't be running a podcast. I will be doing something else. I'll be a different person. And the pitch is, in order to beat procrastination, you have to understand when you sit down and do that, you're going to be different. Your priorities are going to be different. And you have to remember that and acknowledge that no matter what happens, if you're saying, hey, in an hour I'm going to do it, you better be willing to do it in an hour, and you have to acknowledge that, like, despite everything, you got to keep what's important. That's an implementation intention.
Yeah, and
that's
so
me
how did
setting
you do
out.
it?
Yeah, that's me setting out ahead of time and saying, I'm not going to procrastinate. I'm going to do this, and it worked. Believe it or not, yeah, I would sit down and actually do work because I was like, hey, I knew I was going to be different now, and here I am, and I'm me.
And if you say, I believe if you're dealing with procrastination or anything, what I've always said, that which is no matter what it is that you have to, if you just take some small action, it starts snowballing. Like if you're sitting there going, oh, I don't want to design this website, right, that you got to design, okay, and you keep putting it off. If you just say, look, here's what I'll do. I'm just going to do the header.
Uh-huh.
Next thing you know, you've almost done the whole thing. That's what happens a lot of times. You get inspired. You get whatever it is. Like taking any small sort of action is what will, I think, snowball effect in a big way.
10%.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
On the third segment here, we talk about reviews that people do. We got secondshotcast@gmail.com. If you got any questions
Or a headline you want us to take a
Headlines or,
second shot
you know,
at.
Yeah.
Just in general, anything, or you want to tell us we're horrible and you don't like us, do it. Send it to us. I'm open, all ears. It may go in the trash, but hey, you sent it.
Don't
We
tell
will.
people that.
We do read all of the
Yes,
feedback.
we
and
read
every
most
drop.
certainly take it to heart.
Yeah.
Yes. And Second Shot Facebook group. If you haven't joined yet, you're missing out. We have a lot of great discussions and a great community of people that really get and build. We found, this community is just such a great community that has really kind of come together in a lot of big ways. And I also want to give shout out to a couple people that have given into the shaming that I've been shaming you, that I'm shaming you right now.
Yes.
If you're listening to this and have not left a review, I'm shaming you at this moment to go leave us a review because it helps us with more people. So there are some people that left some reviews since the last time, so I wanted to kind of read them.
Oh, let's hear it.
One of it's from DJ CNNSC. Look forward to it. Love the show. Thank you for taking the time to do it. Great stories and love hearing about Brighton.
Oh, our baby girl.
This is my most awesome person in the world right now. They love hearing about Brighton.
I know.
I think they're awesome. The cast, crew, and guests exclude a positive essence and are great. Pick me up on a down day. Keep up the great work.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Thank you.
That is very cool.
DJCNSCCS.
Yes.
Hey, real quick, I was thinking about this the other day. Say a few years down the line, Brighton stumbles onto this little second shot thing.
Oh,
we've been
she
doing.
will, for
And
sure.
she goes back and listens to all these episodes of us talking when she's like this tall. What do you think? She'll be like. She'll think it's really cool. We'll be like mortified. Like, oh my
she'll
god,
think it's cool.
Well,
She'll think it's
telling
the
strangers
Heathisms,
about me and my. I don't know.
I think
she-
she'll think it's cool.
We
I think
plan
she'll
on
think it's
her
neat.
having
I hope.
better use of grammar than her father. So we'll see.
She needs something to separate herself and be unique in the world.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing, Zach. It's funny that you bring that up, though. It is a lot of pressure because we talk about holding ourselves to very high standards on this podcast. I mean, we really do. We talk about our own failures, obviously, too. I think we're pretty transparent on things that we've gone through, are currently going through, things, where we need to step up our game. But we also talk about holding very high standards. So, I mean, she could listen to it and say, okay, Mom and Dad, I heard you saying this and you've been procrastinating this or, whatever the case may be. So I hope she hears it. I hope she's proud of us.
I think you guys talk about her because she's like the coolest person ever. So
She
why
is.
wouldn't she? Yeah.
I think she'll like it. I have a feeling she's not going to be the most shyest person in the world.
Yeah. Hopefully
No,
she's
right
not
now.
listening to this segment thinking this is horrendous. They're completely wrong.
She was just baptized over the weekend.
Yeah.
Oh no, how'd that go? A lot of tears.
Yeah.
Well,
A lot of screaming. Because she wanted to play
yes
with
and
water.
no.
Yeah, that's-
She wanted to play, but also it was funny because she spent time with our pastor. She plays with our pastor's daughter, and we're our families have done things together. But I wouldn't say that he's necessarily ever held her.
But she kept going to him, wanting
She
him to hold her.
kept going to him and didn't want.
Me.
She wanted nothing to do with us. And then also we had just like two dear friends and her nanny there, and then another woman who sometimes cares
Then she
for her.
wanted the nanny
And she
nonstop and
wanted
did
the
not want
nanny
mom and dad. It looked like we
nonstop.
didn't raise our kid.
Aw.
But it was also one of those moments where you have to realize, we know what our life is like, and we know our connection with our daughter, obviously, and it's just mostly good that she loves her nanny like that. And
it was just her day that she said, I'm going to do something else.
It definitely looks like Heath has like 1,000-yard stare in there, but I know it's fine. It's not.
Oh, yeah.
It's not personal. She just hasn't been held by the cool guy. That's all.
well, yeah, that's the thing, is she hadn't seen her nanny in several days because she had been home, because I'd been home, and so when my
it's
parents
like,
were in town.
Thank God she loves her, wants to be around her.
But she wanted nothing to do with us,
No.
you guys.
Aw, well, she hangs out with you all the time.
Yeah,
True,
yeah.
I know.
Social butterfly.
So another one was from West of Keys. And he titled West of Keys. He or she titled West of Keys. I guess they live west of Keys, maybe?
Perhaps.
Really enjoy the insight that Heath and guests bring to the show. Thanks for all you do in bringing positivity into the world. Thank you. Thank you, West of Keys.
Ooh.
Very
That's
cool,
awesome.
West of Keys.
I love it.
And what's neat about this kind of stuff too, again, we mentioned the ratings and the reviews, but really our whole goal with Heath when he started out, and me now that I'm here, is just to spread this to more people and hopefully motivate and inspire more people, and have more people having the opportunity to have like 30, 40 minutes of something bright and motivating in their day instead of the doldrums of everything else that we can deal with. So
Is that a real word that you just said? That big word?
Doldrums?
Yeah,
Doldrums.
that sounds like
Yeah.
something I would make up.
it does. I don't know if I used it correctly, but I said it confidently.
No,
just
down
like
in
you
the
do.
down in the doldrums. That's a word.
Pull
Yeah.
the Heath out.
Yeah.
He's growing on you.
There's another one. Foster Love Adopt.
Oh, I know her, and I love her.
Aw.
Oh.
Foster Love Adopt.
Santa, I know him.
Titled Love and Light. I have so enjoyed listening to you all and appreciate you sending your love and light to all the listeners. Currently, I'm a stay-at-home mom, but still able to apply so many aspects of Second Shot to my life. Thank you for taking the time out of your week to spread positivity back into the world. Love listening to new episodes and catching up on the previous ones.
And she's an amazing woman. You see Foster Love Adopt Foster. I mean,
that's what I love, though, is what I love the most about our show that we set out to do that is coming through is because we see like Jeff Rolu. I know I'm not saying his last name correctly.
Rouleau, if I had to guess. I'm not sure. Hi, Jeff.
Like he posted like his high school son is what got him into Second Shot and stuff.
David.
And you know, we had the Preston in the past that was a high school kid. Then we've got somebody that's a stay-at-home mom saying that she finds benefits here. We've got people like Javier and Colby and them that are in the business world.
Brenda, yeah, she's listening.
You know,
yes, we have some entrepreneurs.
What's awesome is that's what we set out to do, was to do something that could help give almost anybody something, hopefully, right? And it seems like when you look at the Second Shot Facebook group and the people that are in there, their backgrounds and stuff are all so different, which is awesome because that means we are reaching that broad kind of a group of people that we try to do. We don't want to alienate. We want everybody to have some ability to have some positivity, and we hope that we can bring stuff that isn't just for an entrepreneur or somebody that wants to be the CEO. They like being a good, solid employee and just want to be a better, happier employee or be a great stay-at-home mom or be whatever, like I think that's what we set out to do.
Yeah, and ideally, there's not a content right now out there because there is so much content is pretty specific, and a lot of it I'm noticing now because I'm so hyper aware of what I play around Brighton. It's good for me, but it's not necessarily ideal for her ears right now.
Yeah.
And so that's the other goal. I kind of always have that in mind when we're doing this too, is something that would be, to your point, good for high schoolers or middle schoolers, kids. My dad, the aspiring retiree, he's still working, but he wants to be retired. Just good for everybody.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, I do too. I really I feel very blessed to have the people that we have that are really engaged with the show and that we're growing on a steady basis. And it's times whenever I kind of get tired, and kind of like, it's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work. Yeah.
It's a lot of work, and I'm paying to do a lot of work. It's so important to me to hear y'all's reviews and to see your posts in there because I don't just wake up every morning and I'm just some kind of mortal Superman that can stay positive 24/7. I need the reinforcement. That's real life. These people that try to act like there's not. But I need that. I love watching the people connect and the good things going because it helps keep me wanting to drive forward with the show and to keep doing it. And it's awesome to see the young people and the old people and everybody in between that are getting something. And I'm just grateful for all you guys. I really am.
Yeah.
And thank you for all that you do and the reviews and telling people about it. It's really important. There's times that the grind, it can trying to fit it into all the things that got going on.
No.
You
all are the only reason that does it, and the hearing from it keeps me striving for it.
Yeah. You guys are the realist, man. Yeah, all the people we mentioned and the people we didn't, and I'm sure there are people we didn't, and I feel horrible about that, but just so cool, every one of you.
I will send people on to the Second Shot group for the discussion topic that Zach started that I really love, talking about people's secret to unwinding and decompressing at the end of the day, how you take stock of what went wrong.
Surely that has nothing to do with Matt being gone the last 2 weeks.
So anyway, go ahead and hop in the group.
That's the perfect plug for you to go join the group if you haven't, to go jump in on that discussion and see what everybody's saying and doing, because it's really awesome how they're getting together. So where can they find you at, Jenny? Right here?
Right here. I'm right here.
Right
every
here.
podcast.
I love it.
So JennyAndChando.com, Jenny and Chando TV on Twitter, Jenny and Chando on Facebook, and Jenny and Chando on Instagram. Instagram stories are the fun, and that's where it's at. And also, if you listen to this podcast and like it and post it to your Instagram stories, I will repost it to all of my followers.
Zach?
You can find me at AppleZacintosh on Twitter and Instagram. I'll be in that Facebook group, facebook.com/group/second shot. Check it out. We're having a lot of fun over there. We want you to come have fun too.
at Heath Oaks on Twitter and at Ignorance on Fire, Instagram, Facebook, and all that. And I really do mean it. I love y'all. I appreciate what you do. You guys keep me going on it. I love hearing the good stuff. So keep, please, giving it back to us. And I hope y'all have a great week. We'll see you next time on Second Shot.
You're listening to RNCN, the digital destination for premium talk radio.